We're going to take someone as stupid and totally non-creative, and like literally uninformed. Like she didn't even know who Assad was. Like she's an idiot, and we're going to put her in charge of CBS News. She has to call me the one thing that she is, which is like this weird psychology, I have to say. Calling me a hater. I'm a lot of things: a buffoon, a hothead, bad table manners, whatever, fat. I'm not anti-American. That's all I care about.
I wouldn't say fat, maybe holiday chubby, maybe.
Okay, let's just note for the record that holiday chubby is one of my favorite ways of describing someone who's put on a little bit of weight. That was hilarious by Theo Von. But that conversation had to do with Bari Weiss. And to be quite frank, Tucker Carlson went scorched earth on Bari Weiss, who is now the head of news over at CBS after David Ellison, the CEO of Skydance, not Sundance, Skydance, okay, bought Paramount. I always mix up the two. Anyway, let's watch Tucker go scorched earth.
Bari Weiss has no experience in journalism at all. Like she's never committed, she's like an opinion writer or whatever for the New York Times or something. She's not a journalist, like never written a freaking story in her life. And she's dumb, she doesn't know anything. So that's fine, lots of dumb people. My dogs are dumb, I don't hold it against them. But for you to ascend to the top of whatever pyramid you think you occupy, and you're not even impressive. How do these people wind up running our biggest institutions? And the reason that's significant is because if you pay close enough attention and you realize that the people running everything are stupid, then you think, well, actually, the system is truly rigged on behalf of people who do not deserve these positions at all. It's not just that I disagree with Bari Weiss or she's calling me names or I'm calling her names or whatever. It's like in no fair system, in no meritocracy would Bari Weiss rise above secretary. Like actually, and I mean that. I've been in this business since Bari Weiss was breastfeeding, okay? There's no world in which Bari Weiss rises to the top of a news network except a rigged world.
So I actually disagree with some of what Tucker said there because I don't think that Bari Weiss is stupid. And as much as I disagree with her Zionist fanatic, and she referred to herself as that, coverage of Israel, I just don't think she's a dumb person. I actually think she's smart. I think that she's strategic. I think that she, did build something, which isn't an easy thing to do with the free press. My issue with Bari Weiss, well, I've got a few issues. Number one, she's one of the people who signed on to the Harper's letter calling for free speech after the New York Times was excoriated for allowing Senator Tom Cotton to write an op-ed in which he was calling for the military to be used against Americans as they were protesting in 2020. At the time at least, she claimed that she was a big believer in free speech. I mean, obviously that's not the case, considering the way that her leadership over at CBS has already gone. I mean, there was a story out about how employees at CBS were worried about getting fired. They thought they were on the chopping block, and so they just had a meeting with Bari Weiss, told them about how much they love Israel, and their jobs were safe. And that's an issue. That's an issue. That's a huge issue. Because if you want to do opinion journalism, if you want to do op-eds and columns and you're putting your cards on the table and it's abundantly clear that you're biased and you intend to engage in biased coverage of a topic, that's fine. But that's not what's happening. So CBS Evening News, for instance, is gonna now have Dokupil as the new anchor, specifically because he is pro-Israel. The coverage for CBS is going to be overwhelmingly pro-Israel because when David Ellison bought CBS, he made it clear that he also wanted to buy the free press because he loved, that Bari Weiss was pro-Israel. He wanted a pro-Israel bent to the news. And that's where the problem is, because we already have an issue with Americans no longer trusting our institutions. And it's not just government institutions, it's also our media, including legacy media, especially legacy media like CBS. And as much as people want to just kind of write this off as like, oh, well, it's just it's a dinosaur, who cares? It was dying anyway. It's legacy media, no one watches it anymore. Well, here's the problem. Legacy media still has the resources necessary to break news, to actually do investigative journalism. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. We rely on investigative journalism to do our jobs. Now, luckily, there are amazing independent outlets like Drop Site News, for instance. Antiwar.com is another example. Like, I love going there to get an anti-war perspective on what's happening with US foreign policy. But at the end of the day, whether you're talking about the New York Times, CBS, CNN, these are the platforms and the outlets that have the resources to hire journalists that do lengthy investigations, which, by the way, doing an investigation in a story does take a long time. And they need to do that in order for the world to be informed about what's going on, for the country to be informed about what's going on, to get accurate information, and to at least have some semblance of muckraking in this country in the journalist field. That has been whittled down considerably since I graduated college, that's for sure. But seeing more and more of these outlets get taken over by clear ideologues, that's a big problem. And let me just tell you, man, I do features for Real Clear Investigations, and it's original reporting, and it takes weeks, if not months, for me to write a single feature. I have a lot of respect for journalists, okay, because their jobs are really hard. They don't do what we do. I'm not saying that what we do is easy, but I'm not breaking stories on this show. I am relying on other journalists in order to have material to comment on and analyze. And so it is actually incredibly sad when you have an ideologue who's not interested in fairness, who's not interested in balance, taking over CBS News. So more and more of these outlets are kind of gone. They've been taken over, and that is sad. It has nothing to do with Bari Weiss being dumb or being untalented. It has everything to do with the fact that she's driven by a specific ideology, and that ideology is going to bleed into the news coverage over at CBS. That's the problem.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.